This is Congressman Shri Tanedar. Donald Trump has already done real damage to our democracy, but defying a unanimous 9-0 Supreme Court ruling, that has to be the final straw. It's time we impeach Donald J. Trump. The court said the wrongfully deported Kilmer Garcia must be allowed to return and receive due process. Trump ignored it. He ignored the Constitution. He ignored the very checks and balances that keep our democracy intact. This isn't an isolated incident. It's part of a dangerous, deliberate pattern. That's why today I introduced a resolution to impeach Donald J. Trump, outlining 7 articles of impeachment.
Illuminati is a thing you need to watch out for. They want to depopulate and slave us so much more. World domination, I'll get into that later. I'm hardcore, fierce and sexy. You're just a hater. You deserve the ridicule because you're an absolute zero. I'm the keeper of the chalice, a rock and roll hero. I'm not an idiot nobody listens to, because I'm not a failure in life like you. Let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast and the orgies in the streets at the Catholic feasts and Bill and Hillary's human trafficking ring. And George Soros got the money to pay for everything. Socialism is for losers, working for the devil. Chumps that can't fight, they ain't on my level. It takes an evil one to try to debunk a doubter, so I'd rather die than stop talking about it. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out, watch out, watch out, watch out. Watch out for the Illuminati. Watch out for the Illuminati. Welcome to the MC2 Tall Show. I am your hardcore, fierce, and sexy host, MC2 Tall. Same person that said, let's talk about Bill Gates and the mark of the beast, will now tell you, let's talk about Shri Tanedar. Shri Tanedar. This ungodly, unjust excuse of a human being, this pile of rubbish excuse of humanity, who wants to impeach Donald Trump. He filed 7 articles of impeachment for Donald Trump. And let me tell you something, buddy boy, all these accusations are unfounded. And I could break it down, but if you look at the article, seeing is believing. And so, this guy comes out of the woodwork. And as I mentioned in my last video, he may sound like he just came off the boat, like he just came straight out of India, who, by the way, major violator of the Paris Accord, for those of you who love the Paris Accord so much, for those of you who wake up with soaking wet bed sheets, just dreaming of everybody abiding by the Paris Accord. India does not abide by the Paris Accord. And apparently this particular Indian man does not abide by any rules brought on by the Humane Society. But we'll get into that in a minute. So he filed 7 articles of impeachment. And in spite of him sounding like he came off the boat, he's been in the country mad long. And he's actually a swamp creature that's been in politics since the 80s. And this dude ran a science lab, a supposed science lab, because it's not science to torture and kill a beagle. It's just not. It's just cruelty to animals. And he's got all kinds of cruelty to animals charges that should be filed against him. He seems to hate beagles and monkeys, okay?
And his science lab that he was funding, or that he was actually a partner in, and was very instrumental in this. He had say in what goes on in the supposed science lab that was already torturing and killing beagles and monkeys. He mismanaged this lab so freaking badly. He did such a gross mismanagement of this lab that this lab went bankrupt. This lab went bankrupt, and instead of finding sweet, loving homes for the remaining living beagles, 118 of them, or find some nice petting zoos for the 55 monkeys that were also there, he just abandoned the lab, leaving these 118 beagles and 55 monkeys to starve to death. He did not give a flying fuck or a rat's ass about 118 beagles and 55 monkeys. 118/55. 11855. That's the rebuttal signs that will be posted very soon. 11855, that representing the 118 beagles and 55 monkeys that Shri Tanedar left for dead in a science lab that he abandoned because he mismanaged this lab, driving it into bankruptcy. And he's got the gall to file articles of impeachment against Donald Trump. This man just wants his 15 minutes of fame because with a majority Republican Congress, this thing is not going to get off the ground. This man is a living fraud. And I'm surprised. Well, Michigan has a Democrat governor, of course, Gretchen Whitmer. So if I was the governor of Michigan, I would have my Justice Department look into these animal cruelty offenses. And now, thankfully, all these beagles didn't die. And it's a long time ago, so I'm sure these beagles, the ones that survived, lived their full lives or whatever. But yeah, there were some beagles that survived, but that was only because ex-lab workers, who obviously didn't work for the lab anymore, had lots to do with their time and chose very wisely and humanely to bust into the lab to save the lives of these beagles and monkeys. I'm not sure how many monkeys survived, if any, but thank God for those saintly ex-lab workers who saved the lives of those beagles, whose lives were saved among those 118. And this is the guy that wants to impeach Donald Trump and include bribery among the charges in those articles of impeachment. Bribery. Like Donald Trump needs anybody's money, that he would accept bribes, or that Donald Trump would spend his money on something he would not get a result from in the first place, or that he would take that type of a gamble against his own political career and invest money in sabotaging his own political career. I mean, not only are they stupid, but they're stupid to think Donald Trump is stupid. Donald Trump is not stupid. That's the President of the United States. Show some respect. And that pair of statements That's the President of the United States. Show some respect. That has more validity now than it ever did on a single day when Barack Obama was Commander-in-Chief. I assure you. Shri Tanedar is an evil clown. He is Adam Schiff. Adam Shifty Schiff. Powered off of hatred and curry. And he hides behind that crooked smile like, eee. The man's a total clown. An evil clown, as I said. So many levels of hell where belong the left. That a man who committed such an atrocity, such a grand scale level of animal cruelty would dare make impeachment inquiries and file 7 articles of impeachment. And you're going to have people that are going to be, yay, we're rooting for the animal cruelty guy. Donald Trump never committed animal cruelty, folks. Donald Trump never committed animal cruelty. But you know what they say. The vast majority of serial killers, an overwhelming majority of serial killers, I think the studies show 90 to 95%, start out by torturing and killing animals. So we have a potential serial killer who obviously started out torturing and killing animals in Congress. The fact that he did that and is sitting in Congress alone should set off plenty of bells and whistles. But to add to that, these 7 articles of impeachment against Donald Trump that are from unfounded accusations, completely unfounded accusations. This Kilmar Abrigo Garcia belongs in jail, and he belongs in a jail outside of the continental USA. The man was a danger to society. He was definitely a danger to his wife and son that he supposedly loves so much. And this Kilmar Abrigo Garcia now sits in jail because of it, deservingly so. And this Shri Tanedar, who committed animal cruelty, is backing up the guy that committed spousal abuse and endangering the welfare of a child. Why I say endangering the welfare of the child? Because in one of those wife beatings, his wife was actually holding said son that he supposedly loves so much, when said son that he supposedly loves so much was a frail infant. And he missed her face in one of his repeated poundings of her face and caught this said child that he loves so much in the face. So, don't give me that. And he probably used the left, he probably used the hand that had the gang tattoo on it that Terry Moran emphatically denies that he had on his hand. Or that it is a tattoo, but it's not a gang tattoo. You got the words MS on there. And then the following is the number 1. And so the 3 is off camera a little bit, and you're going to deny that there's a 3 following that 1? Who puts MS1 on their knuckles? Who? Nobody I know. To be honest, I don't know anybody with MS-13 on their knuckles either, personally, but I know those tattoos exist. And people who are members of MS-13, a ruthless Mexican-founded gang, get tattoos like that. And so, to defend a person who not only does not belong in the country, but belongs inside of a jail outside of the country, this person's putting himself under the spotlight and is probably going to attempt to defend his stance on animal cruelty. He'll either deny that he committed animal cruelty or defend the supposed necessity of animal cruelty. So we got a guy that belongs in jail filing 7 impeachment articles against Donald Trump. You can't make this stuff up, folks. You can't make this stuff up. And as I said, so many levels of hell where belong the left. They are the party of animal cruelty. They are the party of animal cruelty. Puh. On people who commit animal cruelty. They are the party of domestic violence. Puh. On people who commit domestic violence. Most of whom are Democrats. Look at Doug Emhoff. You think it was for political reasons that Doug Emhoff was fired from his position of that Holocaust Memorial office? Do you think that was for political reasons? No. They don't want people who beat on women and smack women around a coat check to represent something that's supposed to be commemorative to prevent another Holocaust from happening. Because during the Holocaust, women were slapped around, they were beaten, they were raped, they were abused, they were starved to death, they were forced into free labor until death. And so you're going to want a group that's opposed to such cruelties being founded, or not founded, but headed by somebody who is guilty as charged of smacking a toots around? This is what I'm telling you about the Democrats. They are the party of domestic violence. They are the party of woman beating. They are the party of abusing women. They are the party of stealing safe spaces from women. Putting big, brutish men with wigs and bikini tops in their safe spaces, cornering little girls, growling at little girls, yelling at little girls, waving their junk at them. That's your Democratic Party. Your Democratic Party does things like Dr. Fauci does. Putting friggin' beagles in gallows and torturing them, giving them needles after needles after needles, locking them in a box with mosquitoes, things like that. Ripping out the spinal cords of cats and forcing these forcibly spineless cats to run on treadmills. That's your Dr. Fauci that you're supposed to trust. The guy who was in charge of combating the AIDS epidemic and offered nothing but AZT, which turned out to be a damn poison. You know, and of course, you know, don't even get me started with the mask on, mask off, 2 masks, 3 masks, 5 masks, 1 shot, 2 shot, 3 shot, 4, as many shots until you don't exist anymore. Yeah, fully backed by the Democrats. They are the party of animal cruelty. This idiot filing impeachment articles against Donald Trump commits animal cruelty. That gets ignored. That should be all over the news, but it continues to get ignored. You'll find it on the internet, and the people who point it out on the internet will be labeled as conspiracy theorists. Then why are people who are not even connected to one another, who didn't even hear each other's stories, telling you this about this doctor? Because they did their research, and the source from which they concluded this is all valid. This freaking Tanedar is a sadist. And I don't trust anything brought up by a sadist, because he's only interested in torturing and killing. He is a brutal sadist. And as I said, so many levels of hell. These are crimes he should be in jail for. Crime runs rampant because of the Democrats. But on a lighter note, the Knicks abused, they pimp slapped the Pistons. They sent the Pistons back to the junkyard where they belonged, where they were born. And Boston, we already whoop your ass in baseball. Basketball's not safe for you anymore, Boston. Celtics, we're coming for you. Respect God. Watch out for the Illuminati. Please follow and share this wonderful content. Tell all your friends about me. Stay strong. Keep kicking that slang. Hiss your boy. In the building. Hip-hop legend. Recording engineer. Underground rock and roll hero. MC Too Tall. Yeah.